All right. Like I was trying to explain to you, I said the UX guy is more concerned about the experiences that the users get when trying to use a product. So, how do they come up with these premium experiences that they give to users? They have a simple basic process that they always follow. Process like, conducting user research. Now, in conducting user research, you're expected to come up with probably your problem statement. Your problem statement is a statement that identifies, the problem you're trying to provide solutions for. You're expected to come up with your potential solutions. Your potential solution is probably an assumed solution that could serve the problem statement. You're expected to come up with your user personas, your flowcharts, you know, your empathy maps, etc. So now, in our journey of learning how to be, or in our journey of learning product design, we are going to be exposing ourselves, you know, to how to be the best of a UX researcher and how to be the best of a UI designer. Are you with me? Now, to
Yes,
be
sir.
able to introduce this topic, well, I'm going to first of all start with explaining what UX is all about. That's what I'm going to do for you. I will explain what UX is all about, and from there we'll proceed. So let's run. So UX design, or UX user experience design, is the process of creating products and experiences that help users get done what they have come to do as efficiently and effectively as possible. So what that is trying to tell us is whenever you use a mobile app, I'm sure one thing that is very rampant, and I'm not sure it's going to stop anytime soon. I just think it's going to be done in better ways in future time. Is there are mobile apps, especially when it's the free part of that mobile app. That if you want to use it, like I want to do a particular task with this mobile app or something, I keep on seeing adverts. Do you understand? Now, you would agree with me that those adverts that you're seeing somehow gives you like bad experience because why? It's not like the adverts are not good, or it's not like we don't need what they are showing us in that advert. But the problem is what we came to do in the app is not what the advert is showing us. So it's giving us bad experience. Sometimes it gets frustrating because sometimes you're trying to press the skip button because they usually make the skip button very small.
Very
So
tiny. Just
yeah, yeah. So they make it very small. So if you're trying to click on it, then when you click on somewhere else, boom, it takes you to the website, and stuff like
yeah.
that. And there was a time like the website link like Jumia, they did that so much. So you're trying to play something, Jumia's advert just comes and you're trying to get that skip button. You're targeting it so that it will not take you away from the share. Boom! Before you know it takes you to Jumia website. So these are like
Yeah.
little things that you this is like the easiest example I can use to explain bad experiences when it comes to mobile products. Now we have other bad experiences like on a bigger scale, like bad experiences like okay, I come, everything is not arranged, um, there is improper alignment, across the work, bad combination of colors. The colors they are using are, bad. It doesn't fit me as a user, or it doesn't suit this set of users. Now, for instance, when you're developing a product for children,
Yeah.
probably a learning app for children, you're developing that same learning app for an adult, all right? Because the two of them have different experiences. When you use the kind of illustrations and color tones you're using to develop a learning app for a child, probably within the age of 10 to 14 years, to develop you know a learning app for somebody who is between the age of 25 to 30 years, the experiences the two persons might get might be different. So conducting your user research helps you understand the users who you're trying to create a product for, you understand, and helps you know how best to develop the experience for that particular user set. So let's proceed. So but why user experience? Why? I think a lot of persons usually ask this, like I think I'm more concerned, I'm more in love with design aesthetics and all of those. Why are you bugging me with like trying to understand user experience? The truth is you cannot have a very superb UI without giving the user a good experience. You understand? So bad UI is equals to bad user experience. Bad user experience is equals to bad user experience. Okay, so that is why if you want to be developing products that are groundbreaking, products that will break into the market and make an impact, you need to pay close attention to some of these things. If you check the top products out there, you will see that in one way or the other, they pay attention to trying to give the users premium experience. If you check products like Facebook, you see what Facebook is trying to do. Every single, it just looks like Facebook update does not end. Like every single time you log into Facebook, there is a new thing. They are trying to bring in a new feature to suit a particular kind of user. You check what Google have done. On the long run, they've tried to change the perspective at which people see and understand technology. They try to make things very simple. Why? User experience. It was they were able to discover some of these things that the users need by conducting researches, right? You understand? And they were able to understand users, and then they started designing for the user. So if there is anything I want you to leave this class with, I want you to know that as a product designer, you do not design for yourselves. You design for your user. You put your user at the center point of every single thing you're doing. You put it at the center point of the UI you're trying to create. You put the user at the center point of the UX, that's the research you're trying to create. So we design for users as product designers. Let's proceed. So the user experience is how users feel as they engage with your products. I think I just have to be emphasizing this because that's the basics. Like that's what you need to understand. You understand? And I'm sure that when you understand this, the moment you understand this particular aspect of design, your UI is extremely going to improve. Like you'll not be having 0.5 again. You might be having like 8 over 10, 10 over 10. Because you are designing, putting the person that is going to be using this product. You are not just designing because you wanted to design. You are designing, putting the person that is going to use this thing. Like you'll be like, okay, if I put this kind of shadow now, does this person have eye defects? People within this age bracket, what does statistics say that people within this age bracket usually have? They usually have eye defects. Are they always busy? You understand? So they don't have time to be seeing a lot of physical effects. You understand? So when you understand those kind of things, it will help you conduct your it will help you create nice designs. The concept applies to both physical objects and daily experiences, of course. So for instance, let me give you an illustration. So I have this door. I think we are all used to it, right? I have this door like in my room, right? So ever since I grew up, my brain has been structured in such a way that once you get to a door, there is a handle that you have to bend the handle like downwards for the door to open, right? Now we now have this crazy designer that thinks he can change the world. You understand? He now comes, he builds his own door, but this time around, when you pull the handle down, it does not open the door unless you pull the handle up before it opens the door, right? Now me, as somebody that have been used to this natural ethics of pulling handles down, I came to the door and I was pulling the handle down. The door was not, and I was telling the person this door does not open. He said the door is open, just pull it, and I'm pulling it down. Before you knew it, I broke the handle. You understand? So that's an example of a bad experience. Are you with me, right? You're with me?
Yes, I am.
Now, because when you create such innovations, the best thing you could do is to give your users guidance that, okay, this is the new way of doing these things. If you check companies like some of these big tech companies, whenever they bring an innovation new, like a new feature, they always have this onboarding process that takes you through that feature. So you're now used to it. Am I communicating? So one of the ways of creating nice experiences for your users is to always give them clues as to the new actions they are supposed to take. Never make your users should not be taken unaware. There are people that like surprising people. Surprise! No, you shouldn't surprise your users. You understand? Give them tips. Give them clues. So as I'm discussing these things with you, you'll be comparing with some of the applications you're using, that you enjoy using. So you'll be seeing some of the little things that they were doing that was making you enjoy to use them, because on the long run, you are going to be in a position where you are going to be creating these things. So another experience is, for instance, we are already used to the doors with handles, right? But a new innovation came up that, okay, we have automatic doors. So the moment the automatic door detects that somebody is close by, it automatically opens. Wow, that's a nice experience. You understand? Compared to when you're changing the direction of the handle from down to up. So this applies to our daily experiences. So now that you're on the journey of trying to become a product designer, you must, as you go out every day, you try to see some things that people do that give them good experiences, or things that people do that give them bad experiences. Now, what we are studying does not just circulate around design only. We can have these things stretch out to people, emotions. Of course, there's where we're going to talk about empathy. We are going to differentiate between empathy, sympathy, and pity. You understand? And of course, compassion. So we can relate these things to human beings, and then you see how you can make people around you have better experiences by just showing some level of empathy. So now the feeling syndrome. So basically, we as designers, we create two kinds of feeling. As a designer, you must put it in your head that it's in your power. That's why I like calling my students gods, because we have some kind of superpowers, right? So it's in your power to create a feeling, to create the kind of feeling that someone has. And you can either create this smiley feeling, or you can create this other kind of confused feeling for human beings. So as a product designer, you should see yourself as a feeling god. Like I can actually predict the kind of feeling, or I can actually create the kind of feeling you're going to be having while using my product. But most times, as a very good product designer, you want to be creating some happy feelings for people. So we have the power to create the feeling syndrome. So let's proceed. So UX design. Now let's talk about UX design. We've been talking about the experiences, right? So let's talk about UX design. So UX design is a process of understanding and empathizing with the actual needs and goals of the users. Very important. The word empathizing there, it's very, very important. Empathy is so important in UX design that we have to create a study around empathy, and not just creating a study around empathy. We equally created what we call empathy maps, but we are not rushing. We are going to take it little by little, just to make sure you understand this fully. Diving into the user experience, locating the problems called pain points, and finding solutions that result in better experiences. So that's basically what UX design is all about. So it's a process of 1, understanding the users; 2, empathizing with their actual needs and goals; 3, diving into user experience; 4, locating their problems called pain points; and then finally finding a solution that suits to give them better user experience. Are you with me? Do you understand?
Yeah, me.
All right, so let's proceed. Usually, if it's a good UX, then it may not be noticed, but most times when it's bad UX, it will always be noticed, and user will not be interested in repeating the experience with that product. So that's basically how it works. So when users get bad experience from your product, man, trust me, users never forget the bad experience they get from using a product, but it's very easy for them
Okay,
to
sorry, I'd
forget.
like to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead, ask your question.
This you said when a user have a bad experience on the product. Give an example about when you're watching a video or something like that, and then a junior advert pops up, right?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
bad experience, as you said.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, in an instance where you're watching a video on YouTube, like because that kind of thing usually happens on YouTube a lot. When I'm watching a video on YouTube, and then all of a sudden a junior advert or some other advert pops up. Now that is a bad experience for me, but it doesn't stop me from continuing watching the video on YouTube or saying I do not want to watch YouTube anymore. I don't know if
Yeah, I
what
understand what
I'm
you're
saying
saying. No, I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is a bad experience there is because they make the skip button so small, and then when you mistakenly click on probably just by the side of the skip, or maybe just anywhere a little bit distant from the skip, it just takes you off YouTube. Do you understand? Now,
Yeah.
before I explain that concept to you, I told you one important thing, which is when I come to an application to do something and I am not doing that thing, that I came to that application to do. It's simply a bad
Okay.
experience. So I came to YouTube to probably watch a how to do video or to just watch a movie. And man, in less than 3 minutes, I've gotten like how many adverts? Do you understand? Although I'm not saying it's not like that bad, I'm just saying like probably I came to watch YouTube video and in less than 1 minute I've watched like, you know, 20 minutes 20 seconds advert like 3 times. That means I've spent 60 seconds here and I've devoted like 40 seconds to watching adverts. And you know some of those adverts that you must watch till the end before, especially some of I don't know if you played some of these games that you must watch the adverts till the end before you make the this thing before you proceed with the game. Like those things are very frustrating. Sometimes I know there was a game like I was playing like for me to just continue playing the game and continue getting coins, you have to watch like an advert for 30 seconds before the skip button will be highlighted. Once I play that kind of game like 2-3 times, before you know, I just press that, you know, that big minimize button at the center of your phone. I just press it and boom, I'm doing something else. Do you understand? But what the game actually wanted is they wanted to keep me in their application, but they ended up like making me not be interested. Although sometimes like the ads are nice, like the ads have some information that you might need, but because that is not what I came to the application to do, you understand, it's giving me bad experience. Although there are different concepts to it. There are applications that purposely keeps it that way because they want you to subscribe, you know, to the premium version where you will not be seeing those ads, right? So they want you to subscribe to those versions. So in different levels it could mean different things, but I just want you to understand basic experience, the basic thing I mean by bad experience. So that was why I had to use that illustration. So let's proceed. So let's talk about UI since we've talked about UX. So user interface design refers to the visual design of products digital interface such as an app screen or a website. Now basically it talks about the aesthetics of a design. That's how beautiful the design looks or how ugly it looks, you know. So the way you arrange it, the way you work with your layouts, the way you place your images, the way you place your cards on your screens is just UI. Why UX is all about trying to get the best experience for your users. Hope you understand that. So users have become familiar with certain layouts and patterns. Very, very important. So when you're trying to, you know, put UI in relation to UX, you need to understand that there are certain layouts that users have already understood. For instance, I told you the big minimize button that is always at the center, and because you're already used to that, why you were able to relate to, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Now I've used some people's phones, especially some of my developer friends. I just don't know what's wrong with those guys. Like, you know, the way we all use our phones, like normal, these guys come, they reset every single thing. Like the minimize button is not even at the down part of the phone, probably just somewhere by the side. Do you understand? So if you want to minimize something, you have to press. So anytime I start using their phone, I'm pressing something that I think it's supposed to work, it's not working. Like sometimes I usually feel frustrated. I'm like, guy, why did you just configure your phone? And they'll tell you, yeah, that's the fun of it now. Like it's my phone, I'm supposed to be the one that knows how to use it. So things like this happen. So, but as UI designers, when you're trying to create an application that will be used by a lot of people, example is WhatsApp. Now, people, especially in the West African countries, are already used to WhatsApp pattern. Now, if you ask me, I'll tell you that applications like Telegram are way better than WhatsApp. But why is it that people are more comfortable using WhatsApp? I know you now, Telegram and WhatsApp, which one do you use more? Telegram and WhatsApp, which one do you use more?
I use WhatsApp.
Yeah. But the truth is, when you come to features, like some of the features WhatsApp are even putting in the application. Now, I mean, like Telegram had those features like way back. You understand? But people, for some reasons, prefer to use WhatsApp. Why? The interface of WhatsApp is structured in such a way that it's easy for you to understand. Imagine someone in his 60s, 70s, 80s, like they can easily use WhatsApp. The only problem is that they don't call it WhatsApp, they call it WhatsApp. Do you understand? But at least they can use it. They know that, oh, my grandson sent me a message and my grandson is calling me Shekina. That's what they need WhatsApp for. All those other ones is not their business. But WhatsApp is structured in such a way that okay, it's very easy to, even the colors they use and everything, super simple. And that is why it looks like WhatsApp is thriving more in the West African countries. You understand? So this is like a very clear example. So from the colors to the typography, there are colors already that mean something to people. So when they see these colors, they can be able to associate it with something. So when I see blue now, I can associate that, oh, blue is for First Bank. First Bank is a very serious business. So blue is just for, when I see red, red is danger. So these are natural things that we've associated these colors with while growing. So as a designer, when you're trying to develop an application, you should be able to put these things into consideration. So for instance, now that I know that people have associated red with danger, and the application I'm using, I still want to use red, it simply means that there are tones of red I should use, and the way I should be able to combine it with other colors so that it will still not scare the users away. Are you with me?
Yeah.
All right, so let's proceed. So bad UI can also cause so I think that's supposed to be bad UI can also cause bad UX. It's supposed to be bad UI can also cause bad user experience. So when your UI is bad, it's obviously going to give your users bad experience. So UX and UI. So when you're talking about UX, what are the things we're going to be talking about? And when we're talking about UI, what are the things we're going to be talking about? So when we're talking about UX, we're going to be talking about usability testing. Of course, we have the A/B testing. We have the agile rule. So we're going to be looking at some of those things as we proceed. We have the user research. User research is where you take out your interview questions to the streets. You go out there, you ask people questions. Hey, what do you think about this application? By what time do you wake up?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. So by what time do you wake up? So when you wake up, what do you do? Do you press your phone? You understand? Which application do you use first? If I build this kind of application, would you like to use it? Why? Questions like that. Although technology has made it simpler, you don't need to go out to the streets. All you just need to do is to create a survey question or a questionnaire online and send out to the public, send out to your friends, so they help you and answer. Then you get feedback from it. So I'm now going to show you how to convert those feedbacks that you've gotten from people to actual data that you can use to develop a design. So you see how you can use information that people have given to you, right, to develop your UI. You understand? And there is no way you are going to be using. So for instance, if I know that users like so kind of thing, it means that when I'm designing, I'm just doing that thing. So it simply means that when I give it back to the user, because it's something they already like, they will like my design. I don't know if you understand. So that is why I told you that bad UI equals bad UX. You understand? So we're going to be talking about user stories. So we are going to be using some of these feedbacks that users have given to us to create some user stories. The essence of user stories is to help us understand the user. So for instance, you send me a questionnaire and then I answer that questionnaire. I feel like, oh, there's a friend of mine that might like this kind of questionnaire. I sent it to the person. Now you don't know that my friend, right? So user stories now, as a designer, what I will now do is I'll bring all those questions, right? Bring all those feedbacks I've gotten. I'll now form a story that I myself can relate to, I myself can connect to. So it will help me when I'm building something. I am more into it because I feel like there's a story that I can actually connect to. So that's how, and that's me trying to practice compassion in relation to empathy. Do you understand? Because these are the things that helps or that instigates innovation. And as product designers, we are innovators. Now we have personas. So personas is the same thing, but this time around we try to understand the pains and gains, the motivation, goals. This is where we establish our problem statement and potential solutions. Then after that, we'll now come to wireframes. So wireframes is where we are now converting some of this data, to just sketches. Just okay, based on this, I think this feature should be placed here. Maybe I'll just sketch it there. And after that, by God's grace, I usually like putting by God's grace because sometimes it's not always that easy, like the way I'm saying it. But after that, we're supposed to now have like something we can now start designing on. And after that, we can move to UI. And of course, what UI and UX have in common is the wireframe. So after, determining the wireframes, we determine the layout, how the design should, maybe this should be set.
This was wireframe.
What's wireframe? So let me just show you what wireframe is. But So let me just use a Google search to show you what wireframes are. So things like this are wireframes, right? So wireframes is the low fidelity work, is a low fidelity work of how your actual project will look like. So I don't know if you can see my screen. So you can see this like a wireframe of a mobile app. So you can see that probably here now will be images, 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 images. So you just make a sketch of this thing because it's somehow faster. You're still brainstorming. You're still thinking how this thing is going to look like. And then when you have confirmed it, in your proper UI, you can now start adding colors, adding the real images and stuff like that. Do you understand? Yeah. So let's proceed. So what are deliverables? Or not deliverables now? The importance of UX. Now, UX makes your work useful, makes it usable, makes it findable, makes it credible, makes it desirable, it makes it accessible, it makes it valuable. So anything that's what UX helps you to do. So it's very important that you try to put UX into consideration when trying to develop your project. Now I'm telling you how to, because I'm hoping that by God's grace, maybe no distant time, you have an opportunity to work with a big company. So that's why we have to go like this, just to equip you and get you ready for what's ahead. So now when you're working in a big company who have like, for instance now, a big company who have like a very big product that they want to launch, but they need a product designer to help launch this product. Now it's your duty to be able to bring in research methodologies, to bring in methods that will help make this product useful. So they don't know how to make these things useful because they don't understand the user. Now you have a better understanding of users. I'm going to be exposing you to some things like the laws of UX. We have different laws of UX, and now by the time I expose you to that, you now start seeing, so wow, so this is why this application is like this. This is why this application cannot make this kind of updates. We have different laws guiding this thing, but however, we equally maintain our basic creativity. So don't allow to, because the truth is there is a lot of laws out there. I can just wake up because I feel like I understand this thing, like to an extent. I'll just create a law, get a blogger to put it, and before you know, people will now adopt it as this law is working. You understand? So I usually like giving it that kind of thinking approach. So you don't allow the laws out there to influence your creativity. Still be able to explore, like be able to break the norms. Because once you're able to break the norms and still have a successful product, then people can say, wow, this is the new thing, this is the new trend. You understand? But I'll explain it to the basic laws, that you should always have in place, because over time this has been proven to be very useful and convertible. You understand? So the same way we have laws of UX, we still have psychology of UX, psychology of UI, just to help you understand, how best to use some of this, to be able to get your users to be comfortable with using your application. So there's a diagram here where I said UI is a part of UX, because I usually see a lot of people differentiate UI from UX. Now the truth is, on the long run, especially as product designers who we are training ourselves to be, you need to understand that UI is still in the space of UX, because bad UI will always give you bad UX. So I have a very good UX person on the team, right, who is doing some nice research and developing some nice accurate data that, man, this is true, like the facts are true, everything is true. But I have a very bad UI guy who does not even understand how to combine colors, like the layout is whack, and he's not even interpreting the data that the UX person is bringing on its table. Man, by the time you go with those persons and you put the product out there, like somebody might just come and say, the button is working, I like the size of the button and all those things, but like the entire UI, the way the thing is structured, and people will not now come and see the research you've all done, because what they interact with is the UI. So they will not understand the research and all those things, and why they need this your product, why this your product suits their needs, why this your product is the best management app or the best inventory management app. Because what they are seeing is the UI. Like the UI, it scares my eye. Do you understand? So it's equal to bad experience. So that's why it's very important that you put the two into check while trying to learn them. So of course we are progressing. So let's move now. User-centered design. So I've been able. I believe that I've been able to lay like a basic foundation of what UX is, what UI is, what user research is, and all of those. So do you understand that concept? We are moving up now.
Yeah.
Right. So user-centered design. So what is user-centered design? Now, user-centered design is an iterative design process in which designers focus only. No, it's not only. The word only is not there because on the bigger scale, we have times that we need to equally put into considerations what the shareholders want, what the investors want while trying to develop, how they want to make a profit, because we are equally concerned with you know the returning value of the product, and stuff like that, and their needs in each phase. So let's leave it at which designers focus on the users. So it's all about the users, like I told you, and their needs in each phase of the design process. So UCD, otherwise called user-centered design, is an iterative design process in which designers focus on the users and their needs in each phase of the design process. So UCD is just like a process, it's like a methodology, that helps us focus on the users when we're trying to come up with, solutions to their needs. Do you understand that? Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
So UCD is an iterative process where you take an understanding of the users and their needs as a starting point for all your design and developments. Now, UCD is a very, very important process because UCD is the basic of what we do as product designers, because it helps us put the users, into considerations, because it has like a stipulated process which we are going to be looking at in this document, but it helps us understand the users by putting the designer through this process. So by the time you go through that process, you see that everything you're doing is all about the user. Everything you're doing is all about understanding this user. And once you've understood this kind of users or this kind of target audience you're trying to reach out, everything, the information you've now gotten will now influence the kind of design you're going to come up with. So now let's look at this case study and let's see how it helps us as a user. I'm sure you cook, right? I know you like cooking because people they call IJ usually cook a lot. I have all my friends that are called IJ, they're all chefs. Are you a chef as well?